New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring. And hello again, dear ones. Rev Brz with you over here.
Rev Brz right here.
And this is New Thought Today. It happens every Tuesday here on the New Thought Media Network at 2 p.m. Mountain Time. And it's an opportunity for Rev Brz and I to get together and look at what's going on in the future of New Thought, what's going on in the moment of New Thought, and interview some very inspiring guests, and we have one of those here for you today. However, before we get into that, today is the summer solstice. It's the longest day of the year, if you're in North America, that is. And if you are, get out and enjoy the world today. And it's also, we're still celebrating Juneteenth. And I know for you, Z, you're from Florida, so Juneteenth isn't quite the same as the middle of May, but it's still good to see the progress we're making as a country. And were you able to celebrate Juneteenth a bit yesterday?
I was. As I was saying before, I spent yesterday pretty much looking through slave records, trying to find some genealogy stuff, and so I at first, when June first came about, in my mind, it was like, what are they talking about? Because in Florida, we celebrate the emancipation of slavery on May 20th. So I heard Juneteenth, and they were saying that's when the slaves were freed. I was like, in Florida, it was May 20th, but I was being a little selfish, I guess, and now I'm awake, and I get it, and I honor it for sure. So it was a great day yesterday.
Well, good to hear. All right, folks, our special guest today, and we'll bring her into the conversation here real quick. Get us set up here. We've been learning so much in the last half hour about the amazing Reverend Shirley Lawson. Number one, she's a resident of Madison, Illinois, and a licensed Universal Foundation for Better Living ordained minister. That is a mouthful. Reverend Shirley graduated with honors in 2007 from Trinity International University. She earned a Bachelor's of Arts degree majoring in organizational leadership and communication, and also received a Bachelor of Metaphysical Sciences and Metaphysical Practitioner's Diploma from the University of Metaphysics in Sedona, Arizona. She is the founder of the Great Lakes Transformational Empowerment Ministries, and that provides spiritual support classes for women and men in recovery since 2003. That's a great amount of time doing that type of work. Her ministry has been a change agent, empowering people with knowledge of their spiritual greatness so their lives can be transformed. Her message of hope, release, and recovery has helped many break free from addictions and realize their divine potential. She is also the founder and spiritual director of the Meditative Life Ministries Incorporated, and that is a not-for-profit educational organization dedicated to helping people live a more mindful and meditative life. Their vision is people everywhere improving their lives and communities through meditative practices. Reverend Shirley says one of her greatest accomplishments was being able to help spearhead and organize the Universal Christ Temple's the Foundation for Better Living, and spearheading the honoring of Reverend Dr. Johnny Coleman. When that happens, if you didn't know, Reverend Dr. Johnny Coleman was the first African American to live on the grounds of Unity Village in Lee Summit, Missouri. She's going to be part of the Celebrating Our Soul People of African Descent Conference at Unity Village later this year. We're going to talk a whole lot more about that as we go along today. So, Reverend Shirley, welcome to the program.
Thank you. Thank you. It's an honor and pleasure to be here. Thank you.
And we are grateful to have you here. Now, as I said, you're going to be part of the Celebrating Our Soul Conference, and we've talked about that a few times here. Had a number of guests. Tell us a little bit more about, and we'll get to that in a moment or two, but tell us a little bit more about you and your ministry and who you are in the world.
Okay. Well, you read that bio, and I've been an ordained minister since 2004. Before that, I was a licensed teacher by the Universal Foundation for Better Living. Came up under the Reverend Dr. Johnny Coleman out of Christ Universal Temple. And I started in 2013, I started meditation ministry under Christ Universal Temple called the Meditators for Better Living. And that was the ministry that when I spearheaded the honoring of Dr. Coleman. And it began just me looking for a place to have a retreat, because I was having a yearly meditation retreat. And I was guided to go and take a look at Unity Village. And when we went there, he said, wow, this is it. This is where we're going to have it. And then after that, got the idea, just caught that idea, said, okay, here's the real reason that you're here. And that is to honor the Reverend Dr. Johnny Coleman with a plaque and a paver. And so shortly after that, in 2017, I went beyond the walls of Christ Universal Temple and started my own meditation ministry, the Meditative Life Ministries, which is, as you said, our vision is people everywhere improving their lives and communities through meditative practices. And so I felt very led and called to begin this ministry. And we've been going strong now since June of 2017. And as I was telling Reverend Z, that we just celebrated our 5th anniversary Saturday. And it was wonderful. It's, so. And that is where I usually have it set up like the platform or the format is like I have a service. But all of my sessions prior to that consist of me teaching a mini metaphysical lesson and then doing a meditation. If anybody is interested, we do have a Facebook page. We still have a lot of technical work to do, but we have a Facebook page, Meditative Life Ministries, and you can find a lot of my lessons and meditations on there. We also, so I started out meeting once a month at a Park Forest district. And when COVID hit, we could no longer meet. Everybody knows that. And so then I was guided to expand and to do meditation sessions via free conference calls. My team couldn't take me too far with this technical thing. They had to take it slow with me. So we started out with doing weekly meditation conference calls. So we went from once a month to once a week. Then that June, we were celebrating our anniversary, that's when we expanded to doing the Zoom. And we did our anniversary via Zoom. After that, it was so successful. I heard again that little boy said, well, you didn't get Zoom started just to use one time. You need to do a monthly Zoom session. So now we do once a month Zoom session entitled Meditative Talks on Truth. And we talk about principles for inspired living that really I have based it upon, I have to remember his name from his journals. Yes, from I have to think of. Let me find out. Let me get his name straight. Roy Eugene Davis. Roy Eugene Davis journals, and a lot of the Zoom sessions are kind of based on that format. Let's see, what else? I love what I do. As I was sharing with you guys earlier before we came on, I collaborate and work with Unity Village, where I do all of the meditations at the Fillmore Festival, and I've been doing those meditations since the Fillmore Festival was brought onto the grounds of Unity. Can you believe that it was never on the grounds? How could, I don't know how the Fillmore Festival was never on Fillmore's grounds.
Yeah.
But
sometimes the oversights are quite obvious, huh?
Yeah. But I think that it was also due to whoever started doing the Fillmore Festival was out of California or somewhere there, and then they did it, and then I guess it would be in different places. And so in 2018, they brought the Fillmore Festival to Unity Village, and that's where it's going to stay, and that's where it's been. And every year I've done that, those morning meditations.
Wow. Well, one of the things that always struck me about Reverend Dr. Johnny Coleman is that she's often referred to as the First Lady of New Thought, because of her relationship and how she got a scholarship to live on campus and study
Yeah.
the ministry back in the 50s.
Yeah.
And she attended Wiley College, which is in Marshall, Texas, which is one of the earliest historical Black universities down in Texas, Marshall, Texas. I think it is. And when you think about this conference that we're going into, Celebrating Our Soul, which is conceived of, orchestrated by, and presented from the African American perspective, just looking at her alone, there's a long history of African American thought, especially when Reverend Dr. Johnny Coleman, she passed maybe 6 or 7 years ago, but she was like 94 years old.
Yes.
So she was steeped in this teaching and passing it on to our community for some 60 years.
60 years.
So
I'm honored that she poured into me.
Yes. So that's where I was going, which is having known her and worked with her, that must have been such an experience to get that wealth of knowledge on all kinds of fronts. I mean, she graduated from, I think, Wiley College in like 43 or something, like 1943, which to have all that poured into you is just amazing.
It is amazing when I think about it. I feel like I don't know if you, I know you all understand where I'm coming from, but I just feel like my soul just came here to be trained under her because of whatever work that my soul signed up to do.
Yes.
And it just was an honor to come up under her, because I found I was invited to her church in my early 20s and been there ever since. I mean, I was probably a little peculiar child all along, but I came to Christ Universal Temple in the around about 70, 75, maybe something like that. And then I was there up to 2018.
Wow.
And I'm still, a licensed and ordained UFBL minister. It's just that now I'm more focused on my ministry.
Wow, that's wonderful.
And what's so amazing, I mean, you talk about what it must have been like to be under Dr. Coleman. There was a minister, Fred Randall, that was considered the meditation guru. And at one point, then he was going to step down from that position. Now, Dr. Coleman, at that time, I was just a licensed teacher. And Dr. Coleman, she was bigger than life. And I mean, although I had a close relationship, so to speak, to her, but she was still like, bigger than life. And she told Reverend Randall to pass the mantle down to me.
Nice.
And I was shocked because I didn't even know that she saw that potential in me.
Right.
Well, that's the quality of a great leader, right?
It is. You can discern what your people can do.
Yeah. And you can see things in others that they cannot always see in themselves. And then as a true leader, their charge, their mantle, if you will, is to help that person either cultivate or realize or both that potential to move to the next level.
Exactly. And that's amazing, because when she did that, I may have taught maybe meditation classes, maybe over a summer session, and look at me now. I have a meditation ministry.
Yeah. Wow. Amazing and beautiful. And I love hearing about all this.
We could go on and on.
Exactly. And we want to talk a bit about the conference and celebrating our soul. So you've been tapped on the shoulder to come in and provide meditations and stuff of that nature. And we're going to talk a little bit about that a little later as we go today as well. My first question is, why is this? And why is never a relevant question, but let's go somewhere close to there. From your perspective, this conference is new. It's unique in the world of New Thought, in the greater expression of New Thought. What's exciting for you about this conference?
For me, it's so exciting for people of African descent to come together, and even more so for me, because I am on the team that's designed and created it. I'm a part of that team. And so it's so important to me, because I feel that we have a place in this raising up of consciousness, and we should come together so that we can honor each other, honor where we've come from, where we are, and where we're going. I'm excited about the fact that we can go to a place like Unity Village and say, here we can sit at the table. Yeah. And this is what we have to uplift humankind, to uplift the consciousness, because we all, as metaphysicians, no matter what color, where we come from, I feel that we have an assignment to first lift up our consciousness and then help lift the world. What did Christ say? if I be lifted up, I will draw all men unto me.
Yeah.
The world is in need of us coming together and really digging deep into what we teach. Because sometimes it's easy to teach this stuff, especially if you are good at communicating, you're good at articulating, and you have some understanding of it. That's good. But we really all need to get very serious about uplifting ourselves so that we can, metaphysicians, we're supposed to look beyond. Now, we're not turning a blind eye to the things that are happening in the world.
Right.
And in this third dimension, but we got to see it and also lift above it so that we can see a better place, a better.
That's key because, no doubt, because I think one of the key perspectives of metaphysics is in the name itself, metaphysics. It is beyond or above the physics, the physical universe that we currently find ourselves in. And so right now, when we look at all of the going ons, if you will, around the globe, we are, excuse me, we are primed to rise above. Because if we stay at the level of the problem, I mean, Einstein gave us the answer. You can't solve the problem at the level of the problem. You got to rise above it. You need the metaphysics to move beyond. And that's where we are now. So I think this conference, and specifically this conference, because one of the challenges in all spheres that are being highlighted now, everybody has not always had a seat at the table to present their perspectives and their wisdom and their understanding to the general population. And so I love the idea that we as an African people, if you will, from the African diaspora are here to be able to say, we will set up the table, we will speak from the table, and we will let everybody know what we bring to the table. And now let's begin to dialogue. Let's begin to work together to see what's possible. And we know what's possible. I mean, if you've been working and working, talking to talk, and doing to do, we know what's possible. The idea now is to come together and do it.
When you look at go again at people like the Reverend Dr. Johnny Coleman, going to Unity and not being allowed to live on the grounds. What awesome person she was to stick to that, to commit to it.
Yeah.
Because we might have said, the heck with it.
Right.
Not allowed. And then it was the sundown state where you got to be, and she stuck with it until she got caught in the rain, drenching wet. This is how the story goes. And she walks into wherever, the class or wherever, and threw her wet coat down saying, this is it. I'm not coming back. If I cannot live on those grounds, I'm not coming back. And then you had her classmate, her peers, Catherine Ponder. I met one of her other peers, forget his name, but they put together a petition. And that's how she was allowed to live on those grounds. So with us doing what we're doing this August, we're coming together with people. I can see this being an ongoing conference. And I can even see it coming together with all people.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, sorry, Robert, we have this organization, Global New Thought. I mean, wow, what a concept. you know, that that's what takes place at the global New Thought. So we know the seeds are being planted, and the roots are beginning to grab hold. So we just got to hold the vision.
we just have to hold the vision, and we have to stay continually. Though we are living in the third dimension, we have to continually rise up into that fourth and fifth dimension in order to be able to help people, because people are in need of help, and New Thought is the tool that can help people live a better life. New Thought is the tool that can help people understand who and what God is and who and what they are.
Yeah. Folks, if you wonder what you've wandered into, this is New Thought Today on the New Thought Media Network. I'm Rev Brz, my co-host Rev Z here, and our special guest today, Reverend Shirley Lawson from and her ministry. We're learning a whole lot. I'm learning a whole lot today, that's for sure. I think there's about 5 different conversations that have gotten sparked here already. However, we do need to take a real quick break and let everybody get a sip of water and let you say hello to our sponsors. You know, we're talking a lot today about the Celebrating Our Soul conference that's happening later this summer in August. Let's learn even a little bit more. Check out this video. We'll be back in just a moment or two with more of New Thought Today.
Thank you, Center for Spiritual Living Denver, for your continued support. Thank you, Center for Spiritual Living Midtown Atlanta, for your monthly contribution. Thank you, Center for Spiritual Living North Jersey, for your monthly contribution. And please help us welcome Om Center for Spiritual Living in La Mesa, California. Thank you for your monthly donation. Thank you, Center for Spiritual Living Seattle, for your most generous donation. And a special thanks to Hefferlin Foundation for your generous technology grant. And Suze Ajit, thank you for your very generous donation. And a super special thank you to Dr. Tracy Brown, RSCP. Thanks for being a super donor. And a big shout out to all our committed donors.
And we're back with more of New Thought Today here on the New Thought Media Network. Today we're talking with the Right Reverend Shirley Lawson and learning more about her work in the world. And you're a meditator, and my understanding is you're bringing a huge part of the meditation piece to the Celebrating Our Soul conference. If you would, Reverend Shirley, tell us a little bit more about what you'll specifically be doing during the conference in August.
Well, one of my assignments specifically is to do the morning meditations, and I feel that that's a very important aspect to what we're doing, because it's I'm setting the tone for the day, and I'm waiting for the downloads to craft meditations for them based on, honoring our ancestors. What's going on in my mind is about maybe starting out with a cleansing type of meditation for that first day, and then another one to honor where we come from, and to release and let go. So I just think it's a real important part to this conference, that I get the opportunity to start the day off with helping people to center, to meditate and set a tone for the day. And it's always amazing, because I've done this, like I said, for the Fillmore Festival. And it's amazing how I can receive what to do. And then you hear throughout the day the speakers confirming what was said earlier by me and through me. So yeah, that is I think it's an enormous responsibility, which I'm honored to be doing that. I think Reverend Celeste has also assigned me to work with the energy workers, and that's because I've studied Oriental medicine, and for years I do shiatsu, jinshindo, and acupuncture, not puncture. Puncture is a needle, but acupressure. So my hands are the needles, and so but I won't be doing any healing work there because of all of the other things that I'm doing and working with the team. So I don't need to stretch my energy like that. But being a part of just kind of coordinating the energy workers, that's going to be one of my tasks also, as well as wherever they need me.
Well, one thing that I'm excited about in terms of the conference is all of the different modalities to New Thought living, if you will, that'll be available in terms of the workshops and the presenters and the health professionals and stuff for the children, the music. I mean, it's
an all-inclusive.
And it's a wholeness project, if you will. It's going to pull all of the pieces together to look at the physical, the mental, the emotional, and the spiritual aspects of the human being, that we can begin to or continue to rise above, as you said earlier.
Exactly. And we have some of the greatest New Thought, African-American New Thought leaders that's going to be participating in this. And it's just going to be a wealth of not only information, but wisdom that will be poured out to the participants that's coming.
Yes.
I mean, you got Michael Beckwith, you got Reverend Dr. Sheila McKeithen. Oh my God, you
got Bishop Yvette Flinders. I think Dr. Johnny Coleman, not Dr. Johnny Coleman, Will Coleman.
Will Coleman. Mm-hmm. He's doing like the workshops, and Reverend Galen from Christ Universal Temple, Reverend Alberta, from Christ Universal Temple. I did write down a list of all of the people that's going to be there.
Yeah, I think Robert got them showing right now on the website.
Oh yeah. They wouldn't know by name, but all of those people. Yeah. Now this one down at the bottom is where they are the ones that's going to be heading up the workshops. Reverend Sandra from Unity on the Plaza. Go back up to the other ones. Those are keynote speakers. Yeah. Jack Bomar. Reverend Derek Wells, pastor of Christ Universal Temple. Just some powerful people. Is that Sumner? She's going to be a part of it.
Yep.
And they're just very, very, very powerful people. And I'm looking forward to, us as a people coming together in love and in service of one another. It's all about being in service. It's not about you being able to really motivate and speak well. Let's get down to the real nitty gritty, and let's get ourselves cleared out so that, like you said, Reverend Z, we can rise above, the problem, not ignoring it, but using the spiritual tools, using those the word that is coming to me, those occult scientists, to rise above the nonsense.
When you say that, rise above and think, I was watching a program, I don't know if it was this morning or yesterday, and they were talking about, they were looking at the call and response songs that were used during slavery, that were used to rise above, right? They were in the field and they had a call and response, the leader would say something and the congregation, if you will, would give another reply to that. And just in that rhythmic tone, in that call and response, in that exchange of energy, they were able to rise above the problem of work fields. And so if we take that metaphor and flip it over to what we're doing here, this is a call and response to, hey, the call is being placed for new thought to be in the forefront. And the response is, let's get busy. And so now we call in response of, here's the information, here are the tools, here's the why. Now let's just take it and get busy. Now we got a call and response tone going that everybody will uplifted.
Right. And that we have all been called, for those of us that are leaders in New Thought, we have been called for this purpose, for this time. We have to teach people, and as well as teach ourselves, because I feel like when I'm teaching, God teaches to me, through me.
Amen.
Right. Have you ever put together a message and then you were taught the message after you put it together, and then you had to go back over and be taught the message that came out of you? So we have to teach people, all people, but being that this is people of African descent, we need to teach our people how to think.
Well, go ahead, Robert.
Well, and I just want to say that I want to make sure everybody's really clear, if you're watching, this conference is not exclusive for people of African descent. This is for everyone of any culture, of any belief system, to come and learn more, not just about the contribution that people of color have made to the New Thought movement, but how to empower, how to engage all of us in this mighty message. It's just being delivered by people of African descent, but it is for everyone. And I think that's part of what's unique here, but also really inspiring, because this also isn't a conference of, hey, I'm here, I'm giving my 90-minute speech, and then I'm hitting the plane and getting out of here. all of the presenters, all of the workshop leaders, all of the special presenters and guests, the keynote speakers, everybody we've talked about, all those pictures you've seen, these folks are committed to being on property, to being at this conference throughout the entire week. And so you don't just get to see these folks on stage, you get to share and break bread. You get to share meals, and to run into them by the fireplace or out at the labyrinth, or walk in the nature trail. And that in itself is also very, very unique. I'm a little bummed I don't get to be there. I've got other commitments. Rev Z is going to represent the network and himself and the work he's going to do there. So I'm a little bummed. I'm a lot bummed.
I'm so glad that you bring that out. That it's even though it's being put on by African Americans, it's open to everyone, anyone, and we don't want you to feel that it's not open to you just because of who's presenting it.
You know, I like to cover it as because somebody asked me, and I was thinking, you know, I love metaphors and stuff, and so I was thinking about it. I said, oh, think of it this way, like going to a restaurant, right? If I want to go get soul food, the soul food restaurant or the Italian restaurant or the Caribbean restaurant is not for the people of that culture. It's so that you can come and partake and taste of that culture and get a feel for what it's like from that perspective. And that's what this is about.
I like that. That is exactly what it's about. Though I am serving up soul food, come eat soul food with me. Come break bread.
Yeah.
Because it's really not about the soul food, is about the food for the soul.
Right. So it's like I said, I used to always say, look, if you want to come and get into it, come and have some collard green cornbread, because the traditional way to eat collard greens and cornbread is you break the cornbread and you get the collard greens with your hand and you're mapping. And so that's what this conference to me speaks to. It's like, this is where you can come and get your hands and get involved and really immerse yourself in what it means and what it looks like from a new thought perspective from African American eyes, if you will.
And I think it's healing for us too, coming together.
No doubt.
It's healing for us to come together and appreciate one another.
Right.
And what we all bring to the table.
Well, and that's the key, I think. I mean, this time since COVID and just before, but in terms of highlighting the one of the highlights of my idea of the last 2.5, 3 years is that for us to get beyond anything that's affecting humanity, everybody has to have a seat at the table. It's like that song in Hamilton, you know, were you in the room when they made when they made the thing? So if you're not in the room, you can't contribute. So now we're trying to create this table where everybody has a seat and everybody's in the room that has a part to play in the upliftment of humanity.
And look how far we've come. We're holding this on Unity Village, the grounds of Unity Village. When over 60 plus some years ago, we could go to school, but we couldn't live there.
Right.
But it makes me think about the consciousness of Fillmore, that he could build such a place for such a time as this. He didn't know all this was going to take place, but what do any of us know when we're doing the work that we're called to do, how it's going to impact generations and generations and generations.
Right. And I want to bring another aspect of this into this because I've only been in New Thought about 20 years now or so. Mm-hmm. And so that's not a long time. And we're talking about Reverend Dr. Johnny Coleman from 60 years ago. 20 years ago, that wasn't part of the education. I never heard her name in the Roots class. I never heard her name in a contemporary application. Let's say it like it is, folks. I'm never afraid. New Thought is rife with white privilege. And in many corners of our movement, we teach from the white perspective. Yes. And for me, I had to go outside the quote mainstream education of New Thought to learn more about. I heard her name, but it's not like she was a Michael Beckwith. It's not right. We know she was right. We know right, but it wasn't presented that way. And now we're finally catching up with the truth. We're now finally catching up with what should have been all along, which is an honoring and a representation of people of color's contribution to this movement. Not just, oh, she was a Black minister in Chicago. No, she was foundational to the evolution of the New Thought philosophy.
And that's why I am so honored, you know, when I went to Unity just to plan and have the retreat, the meditation retreat for my ministry at the time. And after all of that, I decided, this is a beautiful place. This is where I'm going to have it. I go out to the meditation garden and happened to be standing in the Love Garden, which is her birthday month. And I hear the voice say, now I can tell you the real reason you're here. And that is to honor Dr. Coleman with a plaque. Now, mind you, I was shaking in my knees because I'm like, I'm just a little old minister. What about what are the people gonna say? No, this is given to you to do, and the rest was history. And it was one of the most magnificent, amazing commemoration service ever. Then Guy Swanson, he's CEO and president. He said he's never attended anything so moving as what happened.
Wow.
And
and I was just going to say, Robert, you and you made a point, and I know our time is getting long in the hour here, and I don't want to miss this. I didn't know this, and so it's key to me, and I think it's key to everybody else. Almost everybody in New Thought know who Catherine Ponder is.
Yes,
right. But they don't know that Catherine Ponder and Dr. Johnny Coleman were classmates. They both
were classmates. She got the petition started.
Right? Yeah. That was news to me. I mean, Catherine Ponder, she'll be 95 next year on her birthday. They were born only 4 days apart, but 7 years apart. One is February 18th, the other one is February 14th. So, I mean, these are things that we should learn in the expanded now, if you will, of New.
And things like this, no one would have ever known Shirley. Who is Shirley? Well, Shirley spearheaded honoring that great woman.
And now you get to continue to honor her by moving her legacy forward, by being a voice of her legacy, and helping those of us that are new to the party, as it were, to understand. I learned that today too. I never knew that the two of them were classmates, and that Catherine Ponder went to bat to get her to be able to live on campus at Unity Village. Those are the types of pieces that have gotten, and I'll say it, whitewashed in our movement. And so now is the time, we said this earlier, now is the time for the healing. Now is the time.
Now is the time
To
now,
embrace and express our oneness even more
exactly.
deeply.
Because we say that we are one. You know, we always say we're one. Well, now let's prove our oneness. I was thinking when you were talking about Reverend Robert, when you never learned about that. My studies from the University of Metaphysics under Dr. Paul Masters, when he does his history piece to it, the African American that he contributes to the spread of New Thought is Reverend Ike. And so that was a part of one of the questions on the test. And so I said, well, not only was it Reverend Ike, it's also the Reverend Dr. Johnny Coleman.
even Grace. Eddie Grace, I don't think he was officially a part of the New Thought, but his idea was a New Thought, as they say. I don't necessarily like the term, a prosperity ministry.
But that man's teaching, I'm honored. When I graduated and got my license to teach, he was the speaker. So I feel kind of like that, that I got a little bit of his blessings there.
Yes.
But that man taught New Thought. He taught it.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, folks, we are running a little bit out of time here today, so we want to make sure a couple of things. You can connect with Rev Shirley. There's an email going across the bottom of your screen, meditativelifeministries@gmail.com.
Gmail 2. Meditative Life Ministries 2.
2. Oh, I'm sorry. Is that the number 2?
The number 2.
Did I get that wrong?
Well, we just had to change it. I think it was hacked, so we had to change it.
Okay, there we go. And whoops. And you have a Facebook page. I want to share that here with everybody as well.
Meditative Life Ministries.
Let me get to that. We're going to share that on screen here for everybody as well. Before we do run out of time here, help us tell people, other than the conference, and we've spent quite a bit of time there. It's an important piece of all of this. Other than the conference itself, what's going on in your ministry? What's happening? What do people want to know or need to know? Not only to stay in touch with you, but about what's coming forward beyond the conference.
Oh, people can join me weekly where we have meditation conference calls. I have that like twice a month, and I have my Zoom session, meditative talks on truth once a month, and we meet in person once a month, where I do a lesson and a mini metaphysical lesson, and always ending with a meditation. And always it's exciting to see what meditation I'm guided to use and present to the people. But they can find a lot of all of my sessions on our Facebook page. Beautiful. And then if they, when they email us at meditativelifeministries2@gmail.com, if you want to get on our mailing list, just email us there and say, please add me to your email list.
There we go. And definitely check out the Facebook page, folks. It's a great place to be able to connect. So, all right. Before we completely run out of time here today, we have a tradition. It's called Final Thoughts, and we're going to get started with Rev Z today. Rev Z, take us away. Final thoughts.
Yeah, I think the final thoughts is the good thing I'm feeling about the conference. Something I'm surely has just really hit with. Never stop learning. Never stop learning. There's so much information that's there, even in the little sphere of New Thought and African Americans in that global sphere. So never stop learning. And then the other part of that is, once you learn it, put it into practice. Put it into practice. And that way, each one will begin to teach one.
Yes, I love it. I love it.
You stole mine again. He does this all the time.
Mine too.
I know it's one mind, but I'm sitting here going, we got to talk about education and teaching. But I learned something. So, all right, Rev Shirley, you're up, and I'm gonna create something in a
Okay,
minute when it's my turn.
final thoughts to pull it all together.
Nice.
Let us come together as one. Let us take our principles of truth and live them to help us rise above the third dimension so that we can grasp what God would want us to do, so that our consciousness can be refined and transformed, so that we can then help transform the world.
Yes. Thank you. Oh, wow. Okay, my final thought is I'm going to combine a little bit of both here. We're never too old to learn. We're never too old to learn something new about a people, about a culture that we haven't been exposed to, or that we didn't take enough time to really, I'll admit to this all day long. I have not taken enough time to really learn the history of African Americans in the New Thought movement. And so I learned something here today. And what I think we've demonstrated is we came into this about an hour and a half ago, folks, and the three of us had never met. Neither of us had met Reverend Shirley. And what we've created is a great conversation, a great dialogue where we've all walked away a little bit better, a little bit more inspired, perhaps, and with new information, new knowledge. That cannot happen if we're not willing to have the conversation. And in today's world, this is what New Thought's here to be. There's this apparent separation and division happening on the planet in America right now. The key to healing that is having respectful conversation. And I love that we've been able to accomplish that, I believe, here today. So, Reverend Shirley, thank you so much.
Thank you all so very much. I hope to maybe be able to see you at Christ Universal Temple, and I will see you, Reverend Zeke, down in Unity Village. I'm looking forward to it. And again, I'm so grateful and honored to have been a part of your show.
Thank you. We'll hope you'll come back and visit us again sometime.
I hope so.
Yeah. All right, folks, that's about all we've got time for today. We're going to get out of here. This is the New Thought Media Network here, and this is New Thought Today. Happens every Tuesday. Plan to join us again next week, or check out our archives. You can do that on YouTube or Facebook. I'm Rev Brz. This is my great friend and co-host, Rev Z. Until next week, wishing you peace and richest blessings.